We will move to next to the control and coordination in plants. The heading which I have given is wrong. It should be control and coordination in animals. The subheading should be control and coordination in plants. So the heading is wrong. So last week we had discussed about the last and before last week we had discussed about nervous system hormones, how these hormones and nervous system together they are doing the function, controlling and coordinating the functions in a human. That means in the most advanced form of eukaryota. So the next one we are going to discuss about in plants, how they are how they are coordinating the work. So many of us says that the plants don't have the capacity to communicate, but actually this is wrong. As per 2015 research, plants can communicate like us. Scientists are trying to study the language what they are communicating. What I said, you can search in BBC World the communication between the plants, you will get the documentary of it. You can see that, but the textbooks are not updated to that level. The textbooks are on the basis how it was the previous. So we can't neglect the fact that the hormones are not playing the role. This is a part of communication. This is a part of control and coordination. So if anything has to take place inside the plant, hormones plays a major role, and the stimulus also should be required. For example, dormancy. The dormancy is a condition in a plant. That means the seed will stop all its metabolic activity and they will go to a sleeping stage. That particular process is known as dormancy. But this dormancy is very required in plants so that the seeds, whenever the favorable condition comes, it can germinate. But this germination is not at all possible until or unless if the water is not there. So there is a question is possible, what is the use of water in the time of germination? You might have seen that the farmers, irrigation is one of the main thing whenever they sow the seeds. So what is the role of this water? This water will enter into the seed through the process of imbition. You have studied in 9th standard the movement of solute and solvent, I think so, imbibe or imbition, and they will just break the seed cover or seed coat, just break, they will not break very fast, just a nick. And when this water enters inside the seed, the metabolic activity inside the seed will be get activated. So for this activation and slowing of that process, the hormones plays a major role. So 3 types of things growth can take place in plants. One is cell division, cell enlargement, and cell differentiation. Cell division means one cell will be divided into two, and 2 cells will divide into more through the process of mitosis. Cell enlargement means increase in the size of the cell, and cell differentiation means this cell will be divided into a particular cell which can do a particular function. So these are very much important in plants. So there are 3 main hormones that plays a major role, that is auxins, gibberellins, cytokines, and abscisic acid. So these are the main hormones which plays a role in the growth of the plant. For example, first one, that is known as auxin, and in your textbook also there is one diagram that is given, the bending of shoot towards the light. So for that bending of the shoot towards the light, auxins plays a major role. So auxin is a hormone that is responsible for the growth, and this auxin is present at the tip of the stem and at the tip of the root, not very to the tip, just behind the tip it is present. So these auxins have the capacity, not auxins, before this hormone auxins there are some cells known as photoreceptors. When they detect these red light, and especially the red light, and those photodetectors we call it as statoliths. It is not there in your syllabus, but just remember that statoliths. When the statoliths detect this wavelength, the red wavelength, the light towards that side, the shoot will bend. So when for this bending of the shoot, these auxins are responsible. So auxins are helpful for the growth. And next one, that is called as the gibberellins. So gibberellin is also an hormone, and the word auxin means to grow, and the term gibberellin is arised from a fungus known as Gibberellia, which was first reported by the Japanese scientist. And function of this gibberellins, auxins and gibberellin, they will functions together. The gibberellin function is to promote the cell enlargement, cell differentiation, and one of the main function of this gibberellin is breaking of seed dormancy. When the water enter into the seed, the dormancy will be break, the metabolism will be active by the secretion of gibberellins. So they are responsible for that. The next one comes as cytokinins. Cytokinins are responsible for cell division. If cytokinins are not secreted, the cell will never divide into another cell. That means if the mitosis, there is no cytoplasmic division takes place if the cytokinins are not synthesized properly. So if cell is dividing continuously, there will be less of aging, and cytokinins are very much plays a role in opening and closing of stomata. Next comes the abscisic acid. The word abscission means to stop. So abscission promotes, or abscisic acid promotes aging. So when this abscisic acid is secreted, the leaves will fall down. When the starting of the abscisic acid, the leaf will turn into yellow and it will fall down. So detachment of the leaf or a fruit will take place. And there is one more hormone which I forgot to mention here, which is called as ethylene. Ethylene is responsible for the ripening of the fruits. So when ethylene is secreted, when ethylene is secreted, automatically the abscisic acid also will be formed, and ethylene makes the fruit sweeter in nature. That means the ripening takes place. When the ripening takes place, abscisic acid will do the work to separate the fruit from the plant which is having seed, which will mate to the next generation. The next one, that is called as a plant movement. So there are two terms are there. For example, tropism, which is mentioned here, tropism, and which is known as taxis, TAXIS, taxis. The meaning tropism means if any one part of the organism is responding to a stimulus. That means if only just one part is moving with the response to the stimulus, that particular movement is known as tropism. And taxism or taxi means the whole body is moving according to the stimulus, then it is known as taxis, TAXIS, chemotaxis. Pheromones, they are also coming under the taxis. So here we are discussing only about tropism. So same way we have taxism. One of the best example which we discussed in the first chapter, amoeba detecting the food with the help of chemotaxis. Chemo means chemical. The movement of amoeba, consider amoeba as a full organism. The movement of amoeba towards the stimulus, that stimulus is from the food, that particular movement is known as the chemotaxis. So that is also there. And now here we are going to discuss about the stimulus. Stimulus means the movement of any one part of the organism with a response to the stimulus, which is known as tropism. So there are two types of tropism, which is known as the positive tropism and negative tropism. Positive means it towards the direction of the stimulus. If it is growing towards the direction of the stimulus, it is known as positive. It is moving away from the stimulus, it is considered as negative. For example, one example, phototropism, which is already there in your textbook. Photo means light. So which part is growing towards a light? That is the shoot. The part of the shoot that grows towards the light, towards wherever the light is there, it will bend or go straight. So that movement of the shoot towards the bright light is a force positive geotropism. The growth of root is a negative geotropism with respect to light as a stimulus. Then we have geotropism. Geotropism is with respect to gravity. Here root will be positively geotropic and shoot will be negatively geotropic. And next is chemotropism, towards the response of chemical. For this, one of the best example is chemotropism. Pollen tube, growth of pollen tubes is considered as a positive geotropism. Then hydrotropism with respect to the water, that is movement of the root, we can say. Thigmotropism with respect to touch. So whenever we touched some plant or not touching, when you see tendrils, for example money plant and the grapes, when this soft soft shoot, when it touched to the another plant body or a support, they binds on that, which is called as a thigmotropism. So other things, it is experimentally said here, you can go through that. These are the main things that is responsible for that. And if there is one thing is given here, that is for the towards the geotropism. You can see there is one plant is there which is spotted straight, so growth of the root was towards the soil straight and shoot was directly straight up. When they have put in a horizontal position, when they have seen that the shoot is bent towards the light and root against the light, exactly against, you can see the diagram. And chemotropism, as I said, the pollen tube growth towards the ovule, it is one of the movement. And next one is hydrotropism. And if you see here, they have taken one plant inside a dish and allow them to grow, and another plant inside a little cup along with the mud. They have given a water and see how the root is growing positively towards the water. Then next comes is the thigmotropism. That means whenever when they are going up, when they found some support, these tendrils will attach and bind to them, which is called as the one of the best example for thigmotropism. And there are other some movements are also there. Nastic movements means where the movement is not determined where it will grow. For example, the growth of leaf, when we touch the plant, how much it will, the growth of petals towards with respect to the light stimulus. So these are called as the nastic movements. Mainly there are 2-3 are there: photonasty, thigmonasty. Same way, thigmo means touch. When they touch, how they will stimulate, we don't know. Photonasty, when the light hits, what will happen to these petals, and it is non-directional. So these are the main things that is related to the plants. So please go through this. Next week I will give the question answers, and if anything is pending, I will take that also and I will give you the question answers. Thank you. Please read the textbook properly. If any doubts, please comment. Please.